Hi everybody, this is Danny Watney with Primeaux RV Service Center in Karen Crow, Louisiana. Today we're just kind of following up from last week's video, opening your campers up for the first time through the winter vacation time, or the sitting period, I guess you can call it. So this week we're going to talk about your tank services and what you should be doing as you're opening your campers up. When you stored your camper, you should have had your black tank 1/3 full with blue chemical in it at all times. That's just a known. You just never leave a black tank dry ever, okay? Always 1/3 full. If it's sitting, or even if you're using it on a campsite, always have 1/3 of water in it. You don't want to go in dry on those, okay? Keep them closed until you need to pull the plunger. When you do pull the plunger, you go ahead, watch everything go down. You may have to fill it back up. This is your black tank fill. They're located at different sections of every camper. So you'll just have to look. It'll tell you that it's a clean out or a black tank flush. Go ahead and hook your water hose to it. You want to make sure that you're using still a water flow restrictor when you hook up to this as well. Fill your black tank, flush it again, fill it, flush it again, fill it, flush it. Keep doing it repeatedly until you no longer see any residue or toilet paper or anything like that coming out of the tanks. On to your gray tanks. Gray tanks can be left dry. Now, you really shouldn't pour anything down in the gray tanks. No grease. You ought to wipe all your dishes down before you pre-rinse them and stuff like this. You don't want all that grease and grime and food and stuff setting in those tanks, because you pretty much keep your gray tanks open. You don't let them come up. When you're taking showers, all your soap scum and everything else like that, and anything that hair products and all that goes down the drains. If the tanks are open, they'll pretty much bypass the tanks and go straight out. But if they're closed, it's filling up and it leaves stuff that gets on a sensor. So if your sensors start to get messed up where they're showing that the tank's full or it's always 1/3 or whatever, it's because something is either stuck on the filter, on the sensor itself. It could be a piece of toilet paper on a black tank. It could be grease residue on the gray tanks. It could be a number of things. It could simply be just water droplets that have splashed on there. And once they dry, it goes away and starts reading correctly. But if it is something that doesn't go away, you could buy a chemical that you can flush your tanks with. You'll fill it up, you'll fill your tanks, you pour the chemical down, let it sit for 24 hours. Go ahead, release your tanks and check your sensors again. That should clear it up. If not, bring it in, call it into a service center. We'll get it scheduled in and take a look at it further in depth. So as always, we'll follow up next week with another video on tips and tricks. And so where do you go for all your RV needs? Go to Primeaux.